Hello, everybody. I want to go over a article that was sent by $10 a month backer Elizabeth Fran. So at the $10 level, you get bonus video and you get all of the other below tiers. So at the $5 tier, you get to suggest an article. So if you're a $10 backer, you get bonus video and you get to suggest something like Elizabeth just sent to me. So Elizabeth writes, good to see you on Aggressive Progressives today. Here's an interesting / terrible news topic. I'd love to hear you respond and also add your personal outlet. Thank you for what you do, Liz. Liz, thank you so much. The article she sent, and I'll put it below, is from therealnews.com, which I've never heard of this before. So Elizabeth, thank you for sending this to me. It appears to be some sort of donation-based tax-deductible contributions. I guess they're a non-for-profit and they're trying to get as much real news out there and not be corporate news. So there is a video below that shows this interview, and then they actually write out a transcript of it, which is very helpful as well. So, and what they go into is who is Craig Phillips. So basically, Craig Phillips has just been he's just another person that was picked by Trump. So obviously, and the interview goes into how Trump has picked people who have disdain for the department that they work in, or like Betsy DeVos or Rick Perry for the EPA, or just there's complete conflict of interest and corruption, like Rex Tillerson, head of ExxonMobil, being the Secretary of State. So this is he has been so the man who's been asked to fix the mortgage giants Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, his name is Craig Phillips. And so we're going to find out who Craig Phillips is. And this interview, which I highly suggest you watch, is with this gentleman named Bill Black, who is economics of law at the University of Missouri at Kansas City. He's also a white-collar criminologist and former financial regulator and author of the book titled The Best Way to Rob a Bank is to Own One, which is a book I have not read. Okay. Craig Phillips, he was serving as special counselor after Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, but now he has a new role. So he's going to be in charge of regulating the bank industry. Oh, man. So here's who Craig Phillips is. This is who this gentleman, Bill Black, goes into. And he worked at Morgan Stanley, and he was selling toxic mortgage derivatives. And in one case, they decided to dump a massive package on a Chinese bank, which sued them for fraud. But then there's a bunch of emails that the group was putting together the deal. They were competing for a description of the deal. Some of the terms are sufficiently obscene that he won't read them in the article. Basically, they were passing along toxic waste. So in addition, he sold the same kind of toxic waste to Fannie and Freddie. Fannie and Freddie, as a result of these kinds of frauds, were rendered deeply insolvent, and so we, the public, got to come in and bail them out. Instead of doing a receivership, which is what you're supposed to do when it's solvent, the Obama administration did a conservatorship, the Federal Housing Financial Administration, which is supposed to regulate, but of course, not very effectively. Oh boy, it's more of Trump, and I guess his argument and his supporters' argument, he's draining the swamp. These are outsiders. No, they're just more corporate banking people. And what Trump is doing, as I've said numerous times, and with regard to the mortgage institutions, this was, Bush started this with $700 billion in bailout in September of 2008, and then Obama jumped in with another almost $700 billion in bailout in February of 2009 after he got sworn in. And Obama, as I reported the article from Dave Dane in BillMoyers.com that came out in 2015, was what Obama gave the banks more money on top of the Bush money and then let them regulate themselves so that people like this jackass, Craig, can do whatever the hell they want. Craig Phillips was not regulated. And so they were allowed to do whatever they want with our tax dollars. And of course, this personally, as I've talked about before, this personally affected me. What I went through and what millions of people went through. So first I was with IndyMac, which was owned by Freddie Mac. And then my loan got bought out by One West Bank, which was run by Steve Mnuchin, who was also not prosecuted. He was not prosecuted by Kamala Harris when she was Attorney General of the state of California. And now he's in the Trump White House. See what happens when Obama didn't prosecute these people? If Obama would have done what he said he was going to do, hope and change, and no more Wall Street, and no more wars, this makes me so mad, because for the Obama apologists, and I understand, you see how disgusting Trump is. He's an offensive human being. And you look back, you see a photo of like the Obama family, and I have the same, I go, man, God, they were so classy. They were so intelligent. They were, oh man. But then I think about, you know what though? This is what Obama did. He let this shit happen. Had Obama come in and bailed everybody out, instead of Obama's plan actually created more foreclosures than it helped. And the two communities that got screwed over the most were Black and Latino communities. Obama screwed over Black and Latino homeowners more than anyone else. They got screwed over the most. And had my mortgage been restructured the way they said it was going to. So I call up, I said, I've told this story before. I'll give you a real quick summation. They told me, if you fall more than 30 days behind, there's stimulus money. We'll restructure your loan. We'll put you on a 3 months forbearance. But they cut my mortgage payment in half. And they said, in that 3 months, we're going to take all this stimulus money, and it's a new program and millions of people are getting it. So it's going to take us a little time. We'll restructure your loan. I wasn't asking for a handout. I wasn't asking for the taxpayers to pay my mortgage. Just restructure the loan. And then I can stay in my house and the banks will still get their money. So after 3 months, they said, you don't qualify. And now you owe us a bunch of money because you've been making 3 months of half payments. That happened to me once in the end of 2008 when Bush was still in office. And then when Obama came in, that happened to me 2 more times. And this is how they did it with people like Craig Phillips. So Obama let this happen. So now, and had my house been saved and millions, had those mortgage programs that Obama did, Obama could have come in and been the hero. He could have said, I saved all millions of people's homes. And I would be the first person to go, Obama for sure, right? And then if he would have done that, and instead of going from 2 wars to 7 like Obama did, he pulled us out of Iraq and Afghanistan and cut the military budget and started and created a whole Obama jobs program. Remember the Obama jobs program? Yeah, there wasn't one. That's why you don't remember it. It doesn't exist. So he could have done all those things, and we would all be sitting here, and the Democratic Party could have had a real progressive take the torch from him, and we'd be like, yes, America's this new, Obama's 8 years of hope and change. We're carrying on his legacy. The environment's better. We're in less wars. There's less terrorists because we're not bombing the shit out of countries and killing people and creating more terrorists. And everyone's back on their home and the economy's good. And I would be sitting in my home going, my home's worth money. I weathered the storm. The government helped me as they said they would. I'm making my payments on time. I've got a nice future. There's a vibrant middle class. One of the reasons why America became so amazing after World War II was 2 reasons. One, we had regulation, serious regulation that was the result of FDR's post-depression regulation, the stock market crash of 1929, I believe. That carried us through, and we had a vibrant middle class. We had an amazing education system, and that was the American dream. In a lot of countries, there's you're born into a middle or poor, that's it. You can't get out of that. You're stuck. America, you could work your way up. You could go to free public school. You could get a good college education. You could get a good job. There was manufacturing jobs. We could have a lot of manufacturing jobs in this country if we were building wind turbines and solar panels. If we were building a water pipeline versus an oil pipeline. So I'm glad. Thank you, Liz, for sending this story. I'm glad I know about realnews.com. I'm gonna follow them, and I appreciate Kim Brown doing this show and Bill Black and telling us all this stuff. And read the details, you can see how corrupt Craig Phillips is, and now Trump is just going to run amok because there's no real resistance on the left. I've said this time and time again. Chris Hedges said it in Death of the Liberal Class. With no real resistance from the left, the right can just run wild with corruption. And then the masses will turn to a demagogue, turn to an evil person like Trump, because there's nothing from the left. If the left was offering real progressive populist things, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. So this goes on Obama, man. This goes on Obama. It goes on Bush. It goes on Bill Clinton. It goes on all of those corporate Democrats. And this is why the Republican Party, in some ways, they're just flat out evil and they don't hide it. They just say, we're racist, we're corrupt, we just want big business, we don't care about your health care, anything else, we just want money. The Democrats claim to want all these progressive things for the people, but they don't give a shit. There's all these Democrats out there voting against single-payer health care. There's all these Democrats that allowed Obama to do this, that were on board with this, that have taken money. There's people like Chuck Schumer, who's received more money from Goldman Sachs than any other politician out there, right? So one of the things that he says to resist is he's like, Bill Black's, she asks, how can we resist? He's like, show up at your town halls, send letters. We're a year away from, the 2018 elections, but start getting involved and resisting everywhere you can and voting these people out there. But the real way we have to do this is not just anyone but Trump. That's a mistake. Just get the Republicans out and the Democrats will come in and make it better. That is a mistake that we fell for that. There was 8 years of that talk under Bush. Just get him out, anyone but Bush. That is a clear 100% mistake. Vote in real progressives. Vote for real progressive policy. Do not back down from that. Do not back down. And one of the things you have to do, I learned this, you have to ask yourself, what's my part in it? My Graham Elwood's part, I let Obama get away with stuff. I didn't publicly talk about the bullshit he did. I didn't publicly talk about him helping contribute to me being in foreclosure. Now I am. I'm not cutting him slack. Fuck that. Is he a better guy than Trump? Is he more presidential? Sure. But he's part of the corporate machine that fucks everyone over. Whenever somebody gets into power, it doesn't matter what their ethnicity, what their gender, they have a choice. Buckle to the power or really stand for what you believe in. And Trump is part of the problem. Obama buckled to the power. Hillary's part of the problem. Chuck Schumer, Pelosi, all of them. Vote for real progressives. Vote for real progressive policy. And vote for progressive policy in your town. See who's on your school board. See who your mayor is. Don't let this shit happen again. We cannot afford to let this happen again. Thanks for watching, you guys. Like and subscribe and share these videos.